Hey everyone, and welcome back to another look at the Calibre Wings 172 scale fighter mode only VF1. Today I'm highlighting their non-canon LowVis VF1S paint scheme, which debuted in February 2021 for about $130 and is limited to 1,000 pieces. If you like what you see, you can support my efforts with this channel and snag this product or tons of other great stuff by heading to Big Bad Toy Store through the link in the comments below. Packaging of this completed model is excellent. The box has a metallic sheen and a flip-top lid, so you can keep it forever mint and still take peeks of it if that's your jam. Inside the box, you'll find everything you need to display the toy either on the pre-installed landing gear or in flight, though there is no display stand, so you'll need to supply your own if you want it airborne. You also get the gun pod, a seated pilot figure, a standing pilot figure with base, and 4 sets of TV-style missiles. Behind everything, you'll find a baggie with instructions, and if you flip the tray over, there's the basis for a papercraft hanger display. For those of you who are unfamiliar with these products, there have been 8 releases. One is a 2-pack, so that's 9 total variants to date. These are die-cast metal and plastic completed models that do not transform. At 172 scale, they're 19.4 centimeters long, and since they're made largely of metal, they have decent heft of about 208 grams. After the first 2 releases, the panel lines were tightened up a bit, but what I found interesting about this release is that the missiles fit better than they had on my previous versions. I still wouldn't call the fit toy-like, but they were significantly better for me on this version. On previous models, it felt like I was mashing the peg in the hole and just kind of hoping it held. On this version, the peg feels like it's meant for the slot. I've done reviews of almost every variant so far, so if you're curious about one of the other paint schemes, check the card now and you can go check out that review. But a real Cliff Notes version, you get the standing pilot figure, which is fairly nicely detailed here. You do have an opening canopy with a removable pilot figure that you saw in the box earlier. Also a nice little heads-up display here and nice painted on detail within the cockpit. And there are nice painted on details throughout the model as well. Up here, through here on the vertical stabilizer. So all very nicely done. Flipping the model over, there are landing gear. I have installed the front landing gear doors here. If you wanted to make the model appear to be flying, you're going to yank out the landing gear. You're going to remove that front bay door, and then you're going to find the closed landing gear and just install that like so. And you're gonna go do the same thing throughout with the other landing gear. You do have the gun here, which is installed. It just pegs in between the arms. It's a very heavy piece of metal, but it does do a pretty good job staying on there for moderate handling. And again, this is a die-cast model. You should not think of it as a toy. But I will say that Calibre Wings seems to be improving the tolerances as they go, and it's feeling more and more sturdy with each new version. And you've seen the missiles and that they're staying firmly attached. You do have the ability to open and close the wings, and you can see that they are ratcheted together and very stiff. So there you go. That's your model in a nutshell. Those are the features. Let's take a closer look specifically at this paint scheme. What better background to demonstrate a LowVis paint scheme than sort of a cloudy gray? And you can see they've kept the attributes that are specifically Macross. So it is invoking the imagery that's appropriate while being low visibility. Now, how does this compare to previous LowVis efforts? Now, this is a non-transformable vehicle, so it does things that transformable toys can't. So you got deep intakes, deep exhausts, and impossibly narrow arms in there. If you looked at something like Yamato's 160 V2 LowVis VF1S, you could see they went with high-vis yellow, which didn't make a ton of sense to me, and a much darker blue-gray. So if I'm thinking LowVis, it's definitely more the vehicle on the left than it was the Yamato effort. Yamato also gave us kind of gray-blue missiles that match the color of the vehicle, and I've never been a huge fan of that thought. So while this is certainly a very attractive vehicle, I don't feel like it's the best LowVis interpretation out there. But what is the best LowVis interpretation out there? And for me, it's not this Calibre wings offering, which is very good, but Yamato's first LowVis effort, the 148 VF1A. I adore this paint scheme. Part of it's the blue. The blue trim I also prefer over the gray here. It's kind of a dull blue, but it really works. And Yamato gave us that early effort at weathering, which I know a lot of people will point out isn't the best, but it does break things up, and I wish Calibre wings had done a little bit of weathering. I'm sure that would have driven up the price, so I understand the choice. But to me, this is still the best interpretation. You do have that white gun. Looks sensible, but while being different, so I'm a big fan of this LowVis paint scheme, but this is also an excellent job, and it's totally subjective, so that's my opinion. As you handle these models, be careful with these head lasers. I did break one on my Stealth VF1S, and you might knock off these landing gear doors. Otherwise, very sturdy effort. Again, the best line art approximation of the VF1 to date, because it doesn't transform, it gets to do that. It is rock solid, very attractive, and it might be perfect for you. So if you like this video, check out that full review on anymoon.com, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.